I am an ABM student and I am also a high school graduate from Safety Academy. So, Shangri-La Hotels and Resorts is a company that offers luxurious facilities for accommodations as well as events, such as weddings and company meetings. And they also have over 100 branches around the world. And that I want this job is because it will first give me experience as well as knowledge about the department. With that knowledge, I will be able to expand my experience. And as an experienced candidate, I am very flexible and willing to learn more about what the job entails or what I am required to do for the job. I am a very resourceful person, so when I am faced with a problem, I always tend to do all alternatives that I am capable of to solve that specific problem. I also tend to do my tasks in an orderly fashion. And when I am assigned a task for the project or when I am assigned to a project, I am always very dedicated to it as long as I understand the process and I understand the objective behind it. My weaknesses is that I am not a very competitive person. I don't really want to shine or stand out. There are occasions where I have been competitive, but that is very rare. I also like to do things slowly, especially things that I have just learned. I want to do them slowly so that I can learn them more, so that I can understand each step in the process and the reason why I have to do this, do that, stuff like that. I don't really have an experience in the professional world, much less achievement. However, I do have an experience with my mom, who's an accountant, who's an associate manager. And in that experience, I was able to lessen the workload by doing simple Excel computations. And I was also able to learn some applications that are related to her job, which is SAP and ONS. So I think that counts as an achievement in my part because learning an application that is not what I am accustomed to is for me is very hard as well. I am more of a calculated person rather than a spontaneous person. So I'd rather be an accountant who is someone that's always behind a computer in an environment that is tranquil and calm and collected as much as possible. But I also am a creative person, so I tend to make things, especially repetitive things, much less repetitive and more fun, or at least um, bearable to do. 5 years from now, I see myself in a job that I am well accustomed to because I believe that among other anything else, having a job that I am passionate to do is very important and is more important than having a higher position, it will earn you more money, but as well as more workload. So I believe that having a job that I like doing will also increase not just my money or not just the salary that I am receiving, but also my quality of life. As I am inexperienced, I will spend my first 30 days here in the company learning more about it and tasks that are assigned me. I'm also applying for a sales coordinator for Asia Food Trade Corporation. I am a very independent person, so when I have something that I have to do or I have to learn, I tend to learn it all by myself so that when I am able to understand it, when I learn it by myself, I'm able to understand it thoroughly. But I'm also a very practical person, so whenever time calls when I I don't have that much time to learn it slowly and independently, I really need to ask, and I ask for help. So when faced with a problem or challenge, I always tend to to solve first the problem before looking for the cause. I've noticed in a lot of occasions where people would start looking for the cause and start looking for people to blame. I understand that that is for identifying liabilities, but it is also unnecessarily ceremonious and when there is more pressing problems at hand. So for this new position, I am looking for new experiences, new challenges, and as well as a learner that for learning. I prefer a working environment that is tranquil and calm, but I also believe that having a good social environment with the people that I work with is important so that my work experience and that certain work will not be bland and awkward and stiff, and it will also help me love my job as well. I don't really have a leadership experience related to the profession I am applying for, although I do have the role of leader sometimes. And in those times that I work as a leader, I always have this principle that each and every team member has a need that is specific to them. And um, I shouldn't address it as a group, but as individuals, because outside of that group, they are not just a team member of that group, but also their own person that have their own needs. I have disagreed to opinions a lot of times, but I never really act upon it or voice my opinion, simply because a decision does not really sum up for what it actually causes. So I all if I disagree with something, I also tend to wait for the results to come up. If the results are unlikely what or as I have expected, not what I wanted and the reason why I disagreed for that decision, that's the time where I will step up and I will speak up. I'd say to describe me as a very awkward and weird, as a very awkward yet cooperative person. I like to work in groups. So I like to work in groups, but I am a very introverted person. So I don't really have the right uh, don't really have the right approaches when it comes to speaking to other people. I'm not really good for solving problems, especially under stressful circumstances. However, when I'm faced with stressful occasions, I tend to stop everything I do instead and not practically look for solutions and instead stop and rest for a while. And then when I come back, I will be at least prepared for what is coming ahead of me. I'm not really good for solving problems, especially under stressful circumstances. However, when I'm faced with stressful occasions, I tend to stop everything I do instead and not practically look for solutions and instead stop and rest for a while. And then when I come back, I will be at least prepared for what is coming ahead of me. The salary expectancy doesn't really matter. What I am here for is the experience as well as the experience. So I don't think salary expectancy is a problem. The color of the bars isn't really something that is important. Um, the most important thing about this is not how they were born because they were born with that color and that color is the date of their birth. However, how they how they live their life, whoever of those forces trained the hardest did not give up work hard and dream of being the top is going to be the one that's going to win this race. If I was given a chance to go to an all-expense day trip, I would go for 24 hours. I would go to Europe simply because I like to play with snow. Um, I mean, every day I do stuff that I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do stuff scheduled for that day and past deadlines. So things like a free all expense paid trip is very unique and special. So I think I should spend that day, and I feel compelled to spend that day as unique and special as I could, which is that's why the reason why I want to go to Europe